Hey everyone, it's your boy Daryl from Gifted Music, back with another Gifted Music video. And in this video, we're here with my guy.
It's PNV LU, man. BRON, here, you know the vibes.
Okay, so if you watch this shit, you already know how we always gotta get this shit going and shit like that. So we first gonna start off on your upbringing and shit like that. So, like, where you from?
I'm from Brooklyn, East New York.
Okay, and how was it growing up there and shit?
It was calm. It was Gucci.
Okay.
I had my little trials and tribulations there, but I was still good. I was maintaining,
Okay.
you know.
And what would you consider like your trials and tribulations there, like some shit that you've been through and shit?
Fights.
Mhm.
That's how people know me now. That's how people know my face. A bunch of fights.
Mhm.
I was outside a lot.
Nah, that's most definitely.
Like going to Gersh Parks, watching games, you know.
Mhm.
Out to park, you know, just being around.
Nah, that's most definitely a fact and shit. And as far as like getting deeper into like your story, how was your household structure like and shit like that? And as far as you grew up with like moms and pops, and how was your setup?
Gucci, great guidance.
Nah, that's what's up. That's what's up. And as far as like getting into the situation and shit, like a lot of people, they know you not for like rap and shit like that. And you had like a lot of viral moments and shit like that too. So like, what made you want to become a rapper and shit like that and transition into rap?
People, my friends, people was telling me to, almost convincing me to do it because, you know, I got the clout a little bit. So they convinced me to do extra things alongside, you know, arguing and fighting and going on YouTube and stuff like that. Just to like get more publicity and stuff like that.
And as far as like the people that don't know, what was your first time going viral on the net and shit like that? Cause you had like a lot of viral moments and shit like that. Not going too deep into it and shit like that. But like, what's some situations that you feel like it started where people started to really notice you and shit off of the shit you was doing on the net?
Well, arguing and also me in the fight with Ace number 5.
Yeah, that was a crazy situation right there and shit like that. And what's the pros and cons of like you being noticed and shit like that, and like you being like a hot face and having the clout and shit? Is there any cons that come with it?
You said problems?
Pros and cons, like what's the good that come out of that shit and like being clouded up and like niggas knowing you versus the cons to that shit?
The good thing is that you know, I get love in person. Like it'd be few people, it'd be like 1 or 2 people like from Harlem in the city stopping me like, yo, you that people, bro, you be on Facebook, that stuff that feel good. Like that's the good. And also people support me on Facebook, you know, liking my stuff. It's like they're showing love, watching my face. I be getting a bunch of views on my story on Facebook.
No, that's what's up.
My stories like 500 views each day. People love watching me. And the bad is that like people like Dick Rodder, like you know, like people that I don't even know want to like say my name, and you know, actually like twice in the trains, like people like trying to press me or whatever.
I was gonna ask that too. Like, how many situations have you gotten into because of the name and like the clout that you have attached to your name? Have you ever gotten into like situations because of that?
Yeah, at least like twice.
Damn.
On the train.
Okay, goddamn. So you want to explain that situation a little and shit, like what happened and shit? Not saying any names or some shit like that. So like,
one time I was coming from my man's crib in the east. I was going to Bed City train station. I went all the way in the front. There's like some nigga I was arguing with. Last thing I was arguing with, he came out of nowhere. He had a knife and shit.
Damn.
I peeped him. I was off red peeped him. I was just standing up the whole time. Then they, you know, he was a little bit like panicking or whatever because I was on time, and so
yeah,
he was asking me like, yo, like what's like that's you? I was like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I'm right here. Like, then we just told me that it wasn't like he just went to the train. He was like, yeah, you lucky. This that third.
Okay.
Like, yeah, he had a knife. So.
Yeah, that's a fact. And as far as like the niggas and shit like that now getting in tune with you rapping and shit, I want niggas to see that like you ain't playing around and you ain't fucking around when you come to this rapping and shit. You got any bars or some shit that you could like spit or show niggas that like you really coming with this rapping shit?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. If you can't show us or something. Show niggas what type of time you on.
I said lately made some success. I really be chasing it. Of course they hating. Shells in the 90, guys experiencing it. Had your bitch was laying. She knows what she doing. She is ski thing. I be on the grind. 9 to 5. That's the way you're not telling me anything. Miss Gotti, I just doing anything. Big Massey, you saying anything. Can't wipe no bitch, no wedding ring. Gotta get out, ever gotta do my thing. This shit ain't new, and that be true. Yeah, I should love to pick and choose. Y'all folks claiming games and shit is just saying how y'all dead ass be fooled. I'm just really saying that they be ashamed. I'm in the business that's paying. Dumb nigga, he think he got locked down. Like it's actually Gary Payton. Lil Brain gotta love me like Raymond. I be on my grind just facing. She slurp my pipe, she doing just fine. I guess she likes how it's tasting. Yeah, be on the strip, with no chips, dumb nigga, top ticket, you wasting it. Got the runs and the drugs and I'm facing it. I'm feeling good, meditation in. In my life, I need aspiration. Need a wide circle with inspiration. Let's play our role, we accept the ball. Right there, I call it motivation. Get a lot of racks and do the stack. At the end, we do the calculation. And if I really want it, I gotta start saving. I'll be spending money.
Nah, that shit hard as fuck, bro. That shit hard as fuck. I see that you get like pretty deep into like going on. That's a different lane than like the drill shit and like you talk about a lot about like what's going on and shit.
Yeah, I don't know how people do it, but I wouldn't be comfortable rapping about something that don't live at all. Like, I just want to switch. Like, I personally like wouldn't even like if I drill rap, I'm gonna mention like for me like
real shit like that you did.
Real shit like nah, I did or whatever, or like. I did.
And then as far as in your raps and shit that I seen you just rapping and shit, you talk about like your environment and you growing up and shit. So like, what was the first time that you ever got into a situation that directly impacted you in the streets? Because a lot of the times like we grew up in the environment and shit, but shit don't hit us. Like I grew up in the East, but shit don't hit you until it hits you. So like, what's one situation that you could say that like really woke you up to like how wacky the streets is that had a direct impact on you?
You can't jump on 6 days.
Damn, that shit crazy. You seem like you go through a lot. So like, how many situations would you say that you had like, where you had encounters with people and shit like that? If you had to give a number to it.
4.
Damn. Okay. At least that shit not too wacky and shit. At least that shit not too wacky. So like another thing that I got into with you, I see that you like plugged in with like the whole PNV crew and shit. So like, give us a little history and shit. Like, what's the meaning behind PNV? Like, what it stand for and shit?
PNV stands for Paid and Verified.
Okay. And
shout out to J Banger, Main Finesse, PNVJ. You know they do anything going on for that shit.
Okay, and as far as like when was it created, and like when did the whole PNV movement come about?
Around 2010.
Okay, that was definitely a thing. So that means that you've been plugged in and like you've been in tune with the drill culture from then and shit like that. What would you say would be like the differences that you've seen in the culture from in the past versus to like now and shit?
Past to like now.
Any differences in the drill culture?
Drill culture? Well, I'm not sure about that one.
Okay. One change and shit, and like I want to get your perspective on it. Not a lot of people was dying like how it was in 2010 and shit like that. So like, what's the reason? Do you feel like
Nah, it was.
Probably, okay, yeah, niggas was dying, but like not the actual artists. Would you agree with that? Cause like niggas always been dying in the streets and shit like that, but like now it's rappers dying and shit. What you think about that?
It's crazy. Like they take all the good rappers away. It's crazy, like because like that's their P's and Q's.
That's a fact. And as far as like I talk to people and shit, and they always confirm that like the fucking drill music does have an impact in the streets and shit like that. And there's a lot of things that like causes the violence. If you had to give one thing that actually leads to violence, what's the one factor in drill music that actually leads to the violence more than all? Because there's a lot of shit that niggas do, dissing, dead homies, it's a lot of shit, but like what would be the one thing in the drill culture that actually leads to violence the most?
Well, dissing, that's a lot. Yeah, that's one. Especially like force claiming.
There's a lot of that shit going on?
So I see it all.
God damn. And what you think about like the mention of like dead homies and shit like that? I feel like in my personal opinion that's the biggest thing that's causing all of the violence and shit like that.
Hell yeah.
Going on and shit like that.
Hell yeah, like especially niggas that just came outside, especially people that just want to be down. Like, that people that they don't know, like nobody knows them niggas like who listen. They just came outside with a dick rock wave.
And I've been hearing you talk about that a lot. in the sense of like niggas not being like that, how much rappers, if you had to give it a percentage of who's really like that versus who's like imitating and shit, not mentioning no names, we ain't getting on the hot shit, but as far as like how much, what's the percentage of rappers that you think is actually living their raps?
At least that I know.
Yeah.
At least 75%.
Damn. Okay, that's not too much bad of a percentage, but you would say a lot of niggas is not like that. That's actually spitting in the culture right now. Okay. So that's definitely.